Namaskar. In today's presentation, we will discuss about 7th house and 7th lord in different houses as per Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra. Maharishi Parashar states that one should see spouse, travel, business, something which is out of sight or something which is lost, and own death from the 7th house. Apart from these, 7th house also represents adultery, deviation from the right direction, uh, journeys or break in journey, loss of memory, semen, loyalty of the native and the spouse, donations, loss of prowess, victory over opponents, money kept at some other place, controversies, sexual union, adopted son, foreign country, and secret pleasures due to sex. When 7th lord is placed in the own house or in exaltation house, one will obviously predict happiness of spouse. When 7th lord is placed in the Trik house, that is 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, and not in own Rashi or exaltation, it makes the wife diseased. The placement of 7th lord in Trik house is not auspicious placement, so we certainly not desire any type of affliction on this 7th lord. When Venus is placed in the 7th house, native will be highly sensuous. And when Venus is placed anywhere in the horoscope conjunct malefic, Parasharji says that wife dies. See, when Mars joins Venus placed in the 7th house or anywhere in the horoscope, it makes the native highly possessive for the sex. Actually, Mars is a planet of energy. So wherever Mars is placed or aspected, its energy is directed towards that house. And whichever planet Mars is conjunct, the energy of the Mars is directed towards that planet. So Mars, whenever conjunct Venus, will make the person highly possessive for the sex. But Saturn does just opposite of that. When 7th lord is conjunct or aspected by a benefic, and 7th lord is also strong, native will be wealthy, honored, happy and fortunate. We can also say instead of 7th lord, if I read this statement like this: when Lagna lord is conjunct and aspected by benefic and strong, native will be wealthy, honored, happy and fortunate. So that statement will also be correct. But Parasharji here is saying that when 7th lord is similarly placed, native will be wealthy, honored, happy and fortunate. Actually, Lagna house and 7th house, or for that matter any two houses in 1-7 axis, they are complementary to each other. So whenever Lagna and 7th both are well placed in the horoscope, that will be considered highly auspicious. When 7th lord is debilitated or placed in inimical Rashi or combust and weak also, wife of the native will be diseased and native may have many wives. It looks strange when Parasharji is saying that 7th lord is debilitated, it is placed in inimical Rashi, it may be combust, and it is weak in the horoscope. Still Parasharji says that native will have many wives. And in the next shloka, Parasharji says that when 7th lord is placed in the Rashi of Saturn or Venus under the benefic influence, and especially when 7th lord is exalted, native will have many wives. So Parasharji is saying 7th lord debilitated, native will have many wives, and 7th lord exalted, native will have many wives. So this statement looks very contradictory, but actually it is not. Let us understand. See, debilitation of a planet means that the planet is weak. So a weak planet should not confer more happiness. Rather, there should be problem in getting married also. But a debilitated planet also shows our weakness towards the significations of the planet. So a debilitated 7th lord will make the native desirous of other women because he is not loyal husband, he is not loyal towards his wife, and he is interested in other women. And when 7th lord is exalted, so native will again have many wives because more females will get attracted towards the native, and native will marry more than once also, But in this condition, native will be loyal to both the wives if more than one wife is there, and he will try to give love and care to both the wives. But debilitated seventh lord is giving concern in the character of the person, and the native is not giving due respect to any of the wife. Rather, he is looking to enjoy sex with other women, and he looks at the wife as a source of sexual gratification only. So that is why it will be inauspicious combination rather. In this shloka, Parasharji is indicating the type of female or wife native will have according to the placement of the planet in the seventh house. When Sun is placed in the seventh house, Parasharji says native will have union with a barren woman. Moon in the seventh house gives union with the female as per Rashi of the seventh house. This can further subject to modification depending upon which planet is aspecting. Mars gives union with the female in menses or barren woman. Mercury gives union with either prostitute or low class woman or with the wife of a businessman. Jupiter gives union with the wife of a Brahmin or a pregnant lady. Saturn, Rahu and Ketu gives union with low class women or a woman under menses. Mars gives female with attractive breast. Saturn gives a female who is weak due to some illness, and Jupiter and Venus also gives results accordingly. When a malefic is placed in the 12th and the 7th house and weak moon is placed in the 5th, native will be under control of his wife and will oppose his own relatives. In this combination, 7th Lord and Karka Venus should be well placed to promise the marriage. When 7th house is occupied by Saturn or Mars and 7th Lord is also Saturn or Mars, the wife of the native will undoubtedly be a prostitute or adulteress. We should not predict like this, especially when there is a benefic influence through Jupiter, then this will not happen. When Venus is placed in Rashi or Navamsha of Mars and also conjunct or aspected by Mars, native will have some abnormal behavior in the sexual intercourse. But when Venus is placed in the Rashi and Navamsha of Saturn and also aspected by or conjunct Saturn, Parasharji says that native may be homosexual. When 7th Lord is placed in exaltation and 7th house is a benefic, strong Lagna Lord is placed in the 7th house. So all auspicious combinations are forming. So wife of the native will be virtuous and will contribute towards growth of the family through sons and grandsons. When 7th house and 7th Lord are conjunct malefic, it leads to loss of wife, especially when they are weak. When weak 7th Lord is placed in 3rd house or it is debilitated, it will also give loss of spouse. When moon is placed in the 7th house and 7th Lord is placed in the 12th house and the Karka Venus is also weak, native does not get happiness of spouse. When 7th Lord is debilitated or placed in a malefic Rashi and conjunct a malefic and 7th house has a neutral Navamsha, native may have two wives. When Mars and Venus are placed in the 7th house with Saturn and Lagna Lord is placed in the 8th inauspicious house, native may have three wives. When Venus is placed in the dual sign, that is Mithuna, Kanya, Dhanu or Meena Rashi, and its Rashi Lord is exalted, 7th Lord is also powerful, then native may have many wives. Here Parasharji is giving combinations for timing of marriage, which may not be applicable in the modern context, but we can derive that there are the combinations for early or delay marriage. When 7th Lord is placed in a benefic Rashi, Venus is also placed in the own Rashi or in exaltation, it gives early marriage in either 5th or the 9th year. When Sun is placed in the 7th house and 7th Lord is conjunct Venus, native generally marries in 7th or 11th year. Venus placed in the 2nd house of family and 7th Lord in 11th house of gains, native marries in 10th or 16th year. When Venus is placed in Lagna or Kendra and Lagna Lord is placed in the Rashi of Saturn, native may marry in 11th year. When Venus is placed in Kendra from Lagna and Saturn is placed in the 7th house, native generally marries in 12th or the 19th year. When Venus is placed in the 7th house from Moon and Saturn is placed in the 7th house from Venus, that is Saturn is conjunct Moon, native will marry in the 18th year. When second lord of wealth is placed in the 11th and Lagna lord is placed in the 10th house, native generally marries in 15th year. When second lord of wealth is placed in the 11th house of gains and 11th lord of gains is placed in the second house of wealth, so there is exchange, so native marries in the 13th year. We should not forget that second house is the house of family. It is the house of family which includes our parents also when we are not married. But after marriage, this is the house of our own family also. And even it includes in-laws also. When Venus is placed in the 7th house from the 8th house, that is in the second house, and second lord is conjunct Mars, native marries either in 22nd or 27th year. When Lagna lord is placed in the Rashi of 7th house of Rashi chart in Navamsha and 7th lord is placed in the second house, native marries in 23rd or 26th year. When 8th lord is placed in the 7th and Venus is placed in the Rashi of Lagna in Navamsha chart, native marries in 25th or 33rd year. We can take an example to appreciate these combinations. Here Parasharaji is saying, suppose Mesha Lagna is rising, so 8th lord will be Mars. So Mars is placed in the 7th house and Venus should be placed in the Navamsha in the Mesha Rashi. Then it will be Laganamsha. So in that combination, native will marry in 25th or 33rd year. When Venus is placed in the 9th from 9th, that is in the 5th house, and Rahu is placed in either of the Trikonas, that is 5th or 9th house, one should predict marriage in 31 or 33 years. When Venus is placed in the 7th house from the 9th, that is in the 3rd house, and 7th lord is placed in the 7th from Venus, that is in the 9th house, so native marries in 27th or 30th year. When 7th lord is placed in debilitation and Venus is placed in 6th or the 8th house, spouse dies in 18 or 33 years. This is after marriage. When 7th lord is placed in 8th house and 12th lord is placed in the 7th, one should predict death of spouse in 19 years after marriage. If Rahu is placed in the 2nd house of family and Mars in the 7th house of the spouse, so Mars will aspect Rahu placed in the 2nd house. So wife dies in 3 days from marriage due to snake bite or maybe due to poison also. When Venus is placed in the 8th house and its Rashi lord is placed in the signs of Saturn, wife dies in 12 or 19 years after marriage. When Lagna lord is debilitated and second lord of family is placed in the 8th house, wife dies in 13 years after marriage. Moon placed in the 7th house from Venus and Mercury placed in the 7th house from Moon, that is Venus and Mercury are conjunct. 8th lord is placed in the 5th house. First marriage takes place in 10th year, second in 22nd and third in 33rd year. And Parasharaji says one should not doubt about this prediction. When Mars is placed in the 6th house, Rahu in the 7th and Saturn in the 8th, so such a row of inauspicious planets in the 6th, 7th and 8th house. So 7th house is occupied by a malefic and 7th house is also in the Papakartri Yoga. All three highly rated malefics. So wife does not live. Now let us appreciate placement of 7th lord in different houses. When 7th lord is placed in the Lagna, native will be addicted to women of others and dissolute. Native may be weak, clever, impatient, and he will have some windy ailments. The 7th lord in Lagna or Lagna lord in 7th house is a combination of marriage by choice. Native will be possessive about wife and sex and will desire that his wife should follow his instructions. 7th lord in Lagna can give many travels, especially when 7th lord is placed in the movable sign. Native may undertake foreign travel also. But under affliction, it can give long stay away from spouse and native will desire company of other women. When 7th lord is placed in the 2nd house of family, Parasharaji says native will have many wives. He will get wealth through wife and he will be sluggish. The 7th lord in 2nd house is acceptable placement as long as 7th lord is not afflicted, because 2nd house is the 8th house from the 7th. Afflicted 7th lord in the 2nd house can give problems in character for both husband and wife. It can also give second marriage, maybe after death or separation from the first wife. If afflicted, dasha of 7th lord can prove to be marka for either native or spouse depending on the overall combination of the chart. When 7th lord is placed in the 3rd house, child may die. He may probably beget daughter, and there is a possibility that one son may survive after some efforts. The 7th lord in 3rd house, if it is well placed, one of the sibling may go abroad. Native may undertake foreign travel, especially if Madasha of 7th lord operates. But afflicted 7th lord in 3rd house can be death afflicting for one of the younger siblings, and native may either marry siblings wife, or if there are other combinations present, native may keep illicit relation with his sister-in-law. When 7th lord is placed in the 4th house, wife of the native will not be under control of the native, but native himself will be truthful, intelligent, religious, but may have some dental disease. The 7th lord in the 4th house under benefic influence will make his wife lead a very happy life after marriage. His wife will keep the domestic environment very conducive. She will keep good terms with his parents. She will also beget male progeny. Native will be happy on account of properties, vehicles, etc. Native may invest in some property abroad also. Native will be highly educated, but afflicted 7th lord will give just opposite results, and its dasha period could prove to be very concerning for the mother. When 7th lord is placed in the 5th house, native will be honorable, having all good qualities. He will always be happy, having all kinds of wealth. The 7th lord in 5th house is a combination of early marriage. Wife will also come from good family. Native may benefit through some friends living abroad, but afflicted 7th lord can give concern for the progeny. Spouse may deliver a child born from some other man, and native may face trouble through some foreigners. When 7th lord is placed in the 6th inauspicious house, wife will be diseased. Native may have enmity with the wife, and native himself will have hot temperament and may be devoid of happiness. The 7th lord in the 6th house can give marriage through maternal relative also when it is well placed. But if it is not well placed, it will give extramarital affairs. And affliction to the 7th lord in the 6th house will give financial losses through theft. It can even give death-like conditions for one of the maternal uncle. Strength and weakness of the Venus will actually decide about marital aspects and character of the native. See, in this shloka, Parasharaji is saying that 7th lord in the 6th house will give diseased wife. This is true because 6th house is the house of disease. So 7th lord of spouse going to the 6th house, this is an indication of disease. 6th house is also the house of enmity, so there could be some misunderstanding with the wife also. Parasharaji says that native will have hot temperament and will be devoid of happiness. So I would like to clarify here. Parasharaji is saying native will have hot temperament. This is actually connecting with the spouse. Parasharaji is saying devoid of happiness. See, in this context, Parasharaji is trying to say that native will have hot temperament towards whom? Towards the wife. But he may be having good relationship with other relatives, or he may be very pleasant at his office place. It will depend on the other combinations. When Parasharaji says divide of happiness, it is basically divide of happiness of spouse only. It is not a general loss of happiness. When 7th lord is placed in the 7th house, native will have happiness of wife. Native will be patient and wise. He will be intelligent but may have some windy diseases. The 7th lord in the 7th house is a combination of early marriage, and this is a combination of females getting easily attracted towards a native, especially when 7th lord is a natural benefic planet. Native will be famous and respected because 7th house is the house of social respect. Spouse may come from good family. If Venus is also well placed, then native will be highly competent to satisfy his wife during the sexual intercourse. When seventh lord is placed in the eighth house of death, native is devoid of happiness of wife. His wife may be diseased, bad character, and will not follow the native. Seventh lord in the eighth house is a combination of delay in marriage, and death may take place at some distant place or even abroad. Afflicted seventh lord can give early loss of spouse, and nature of the spouse will also be not good. When seventh lord is placed in the ninth house, so that he will have association of many females. He will be fascinated for wife and will initiate many work. Seventh lord in ninth can give abroad settlement for both father as well as native, and wife will come from good and respected family, and his father-in-law may also be well placed. But afflicted seventh lord can give early death to father if son and ninth lord are also afflicted. When seventh lord is placed in the 10th house, wife will not be under his control. Native himself will be involved in religious deeds, he will have wealth, sons, etc. The seventh lord in the 10th house, especially when it is a Chara Rashi, so this is a combination of many foreign trips related to career, or even career abroad also is possible. Wife may also be working, or if say wife is not working and if she is a housewife, she will extend support to the native for his professional goals. Afflicted seventh lord in the 10th house will give sufferings in the career. When seventh lord is placed in the 11th house of gains, native will get wealth through spouse. He will have less happiness of son and may have more daughters. Seventh lord in 11th house is again a combination of early marriage, and if there is a promise of more than one marriage, then this combination will certainly support for more than one marriage. This combination can also induce extramarital relationships, and native will gain through foreign contacts. When seventh lord is placed in the 12th, native will be poor and miser. His wife will be spendthrift. Native will have his livelihood through clothes. The seventh lord in 12th house could have other meaning also. It can give settlement abroad immediately after marriage. If afflicted, it can give loss of spouse also, and more than one marriage is possible. If Venus and 7th house are also under affliction, then native will not marry at all. Thank you for watching Kuber Astrology channel. Please subscribe. Thank you.